Do you want to start one of the videos? Do you want to start the hello everyone, welcome to
No.
No?
I like how you did it.
Okay,
It's
cool.
great. Thanks for asking.
Yeah, no.
Never crossed my mind.
I feel like yeah, it could be cool, but it's whatever. I'll keep with continuity though with every
Yeah.
it could become a meme at some point.
It'll happen one day when
Yeah.
I'll just like cut you off.
Yeah.
By accident.
Do it, cut me off.
All right, guys. Hello. Welcome to the Golden Ode podcast. My name is Karen Deeb.
My name is Jesse.
And today we are reviewing Undercurrent by Jim Hall and Bill Evans, a jazz album.
A jazz album.
Wow.
Well, give us a background.
These guys are sick. It's a duo album, guitar,
Duo album,
piano.
yeah. What year did it come out, Karen?
No idea.
No idea.
I don't do my research.
I think it was 1966. I think.
Wow.
Yeah. The 60s.
What else was going on in the 60s, Jesse?
I mean, I can't speak to the jazz world, Karen. This is your domain, but
Me either.
a lot of crazy stuff's happened in the 60s. The Beatles, the flower power movement's about to get started, but I don't know how much of an impact that really has on the jazz world, you know? The jazz world is kind of like I feel like its own thing at this
Yeah.
point, like pretty separate.
They're pretty secluded. I mean, they spend...
It's kind of not mainstream anymore.
No, definitely not mainstream.
Yeah.
I think before 50s mainstream big bands.
Yeah.
60s combos like Bill Evans, Jim Hall were doing stuff. But then you get to like 70s, 80s, then you get off into like Herbie Hancock fusion world.
Okay.
And
I have no
synths
idea. I have
start
no idea
coming
who
out.
that is. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it just gets crazy.
Yeah.
And then it tapers off into like the background where it is now.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be.
Where it's like a lot of like the meme, I guess, is like you have a fancy cocktail party and you put some jazz music on in the background, or you're having dinner and you put on some smooth jazz for the vibes, but
Yeah.
no one's really listening, and it's sad.
Especially during the bass solos.
Yeah.
Nobody's listening. Which is great because there's no bass on this record. It's just piano and guitar. The
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yes. There's no percussion on this album, Karen.
Says the drummer, yes.
Says that, yeah. But that was something I kind of missed a little bit. And I was like, the first track, I was like, oh, I can't wait. Can't wait for this percussion. It's going to be sick. Where's the percussion? And then second song, still no percussion. I'm like, I'm going to do some research on this album. And then it was like, this album's famous because there's no percussion. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay, well, here we go. No, it was a cool album. I enjoyed listening to it. I'm glad you brought this to the podcast to review. So
You're welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, so let's get into it. Okay, so who's who? Bill Evans. Yeah, you got to remind me because I knew this when I was taking notes and now I forgot.
Bill Evans, piano player.
Piano player. Okay.
Jim Hall, old mustache guitar player.
Guitar player. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Jim Hall apparently also has 1.5 original songs on this album.
Great.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Romaine is apparently a full original written by him, and then there's another track that was written by his wife that they are playing too. So once we get to that, I'll say it. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this album is mostly standards.
Yes.
But I guess that's a jazz thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody rips each other off all the time.
But not rips each other off. Like they're still like riffing on it and doing new things with it, right?
That's what they think they're doing.
Oh wow, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say I sense some cynicism.
you're
and-
right. I'm just
the
playing.
jaded jazz guy over here.
I want to get some heat from the jazz crowd, so like lay it on me.
That's so funny. You're trying a little too hard, Karen.
Oops.
That's so funny. Okay, let's start with My Funny Valentine. And this is why I say this isn't a ripoff, because what is this? This isn't My Funny Valentine.
You'd be hard pressed to hear like a whole 4 bars of the melody at once. Like, there's times where you hear it for like maybe a couple of bars here and there.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I recognize that.
Yeah.
That's a part from My Funny Valentine.
Yeah.
Oh, this is supposed to be My Funny Valentine. Where's the rest of it? So yeah, they don't make it too obvious.
Yeah. I remember the first time you showed me this in the car like a couple months ago, and you're like, oh, like you like that song? Here, I'll play you a version of this song. And then I was like, yeah, this doesn't sound at all like the song. And then I listened to it for the podcast. Again, I was like, this sounds nothing like My Funny Valentine. What the hell? And then I was like, no, I feel like I caught one melody, so I'm going to listen to it one more time and really try, like find the melody and stick with it. And I was able to for like 30 or 40 seconds, and I was like, oh, okay, they're just playing this supremely fast, and that's why like the melody's just going by like so quickly that it's like I'm not, catching on to it. But yeah, so I don't know. I've had mixed feelings about this song overall, but I think it's cool. I think it's cool how they did it. Yeah, that's my final conclusion on the song.
I mean, this one stands as far as one of my favorite recordings of the song, period. Just like when Jim Hall and they pick up the tempo with the bass line stuff, it just hits so hard. It's like the craziest beat drop you'd ever hear with no bass or percussion ever.
Yeah.
Just on guitar and piano.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, when I was begging for percussion and I was listening to this song, I was like praying, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to like tap my foot along and see if I can like find where the percussion would be. Mm-hmm. And then I was tapping my hand to it. And that's when I was really able to appreciate all the crazy stuff that they were doing and like just how they were like weaving in and out of the rhythm with nothing really there. And I was like, it just made me appreciate it.
I think in general with jazz, the audience who listens to jazz enjoys the active listening experience rather than the passive listening experience for the most pop music perhaps. But being an active participant while listening is kind of the experience that jazz listeners love, I think. Whether you're a musician or not. There's some element that you have to be engaged with, otherwise you just miss it. Yeah. Or you don't get a grasp of what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I would go as far as to say jazz, the world of jazz has the best musicians in the world.
Yes.
Like, I feel like, like jazz musicianship is probably like the peak musicianship that you can get to, really. You know what I mean?
I would agree. Just because the technical, the creative, the flexibility required to kind of engage with the music and its subgenres to that level requires musicianship. Yeah. And I think it's musicianship on all fronts. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I definitely saw that in this track as I was trying to catch the rhythm myself. And also the guitar melody at the end seemed to also bring back some of that like classic melody in the song, which I appreciated. So yeah, overall I'm a fan. It got me really appreciating music in general when I listened to this. And it was just like, I want to pick up an instrument now and like try and improve myself.
Great.
Like inspired me to like practice more,
Spoken like a true jazz musician.
Yeah, okay, there you go.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, perfect. So yeah, cool start. Next one is I Hear a Rhapsody. More smooth jazz vibes on this one is what I felt like. Yeah, and I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, nothing comes down. It's a very soft performance of the song, and it's great. It just kind of lets you flow through it.
Yeah, it's generally pretty beautiful, and that's like that. That's the jazz that I gravitated towards in my life first. Was just like the smooth jazz stuff. And like even just outside of like dinners or whatever, like when my mom would put on smooth jazz, like especially the Christmas jazz, like that's the stuff that I was like, I really like this. Like this is cool. And like Frank Sinatra and all that stuff. So
what about it kind of captured you with that kind of
stuff? Just the aesthetic and the way that it makes me feel, like just very laid back and just calm and peaceful. And I love piano. And so when that smooth piano comes in, I'm just like, wow, this is heaven.
Great.
Yeah.
I love that. Because I feel the same way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, whereas the first track, that's the jazz, and I'm like, what's happening? What is this?
Hold on to your seats.
Hold on to, and you could put My Funny Valentine, Bill Evans, and Jim Hall version on at a dinner party, but I feel like that will like perk up some of people's ears and be like, what's this? Like, what's happening right now?
Like, you'd probably get
this isn't
spilled
calming.
drinks. Like,
yeah.
I'll start shaking.
Yeah. Actually, is it Monsters, Inc. that has some of the more active jazz music in it a little bit? That's
just like for like car chases or something.
Yeah. So it's a little bit more chaotic, which is cool. Whereas I Hear Rhapsody was more what I was used to. So I was able to get into my comfort zone a little bit, which is cool. So yeah, I don't know if you had any. What were your thoughts?
No, that's about it.
Yeah. Just like very, very nice. Overall, I guess with the album, Jim Hall and Bill Rhapsody, it's like very intimate.
Yes.
Right, like the way they're playing and how it sounds, and it is live off the floor as well, right?
Yes.
Which is like amazing.
Well, I think that
blows my mind.
One of the things about this record that really stands out to me in general, just the way they listen to each other and the decisions they make as far as serving the music or finding ways to kind of bring in new ornaments or new melodies or just playing with what's happening at the moment is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think what's interesting about My Funny Valentine in particular is that I think they included alternate takes to that, one or two alternate takes.
At the end of the album, right?
At the end of the album,
separate
yeah.
tracks, yeah.
And you can kind of hear that from listening to the alternate takes, that they had a sense of a roadmap. Like, we're going to start off like this, and then we're going to do something, and then we're going to pick up the tempo and do that bass line stuff, and then we're going to kind of take it out in a certain way. It's kind of roughly pieced together as far as the arrangement goes. So it makes me wonder how much planning has went into the other songs, and how many chances they had to go at it again, if any. But regardless, all those alternate takes are really not the same. Like, they all have a sense of where they're going, but the decision-making process is all on the fly. And I think they've always done a good job listening to each other and making sure that they're connected musically at every step of the way.
Yeah. Well, and that's jazz, right?
That's jazz.
That's jazz. That's like, it's improv, right? Like, jazz improv is like such a staple, I feel like, to the genre. And I think even, like, not to bring up Christmas jazz again, but the what's the cartoon? Charlie Brown? That
Charlie Brown Christmas?
Yeah, and that album, like the soundtrack to the Charlie Brown Christmas, is like iconic. At least in my family, it is. And like, you know, I think it's like very popular in
I've been
general.
hired to like play just that record.
Have you? Okay, yeah. So it is very iconic, and I think they did the whole album in one take, right? So again, just like, it just blows my mind how jazz musicians can just like be like, there's your instrument, go sit on it. I'm gonna sit on my instrument, play and record, done, perfect. Like, let's go. You know. So I think they recorded this in like 2 days, right? Like 2 sessions is what I remember researching. So yeah, just so impressive that they're able to do that. But it is interesting that you mentioned these guys seem to have a bit of a roadmap, which for me, it's like, yeah, obviously you need a roadmap when you're like making a song, or you're like covering or writing a song. But I guess in jazz, you never know. It's not always a roadmap. Sometimes you create the map as you go. So very cool. To go to the next one, we got Dream Gypsy. So this is the one that Jim Hall's wife wrote, which I thought was super cool. So it's like, it's not a standard, but it's also not their song. It's kind of an interesting thing there. And the guitar's great on this track.
Is this the one where it goes like, down, bow, bow, do, do?
I have no idea.
Okay, probably. Well, anyways,
I didn't get to sit with the song as much as I would have liked to, but yeah, I'd defer to you.
Whenever there's a song on this record that starts with a guitar melody, I find it speaks to like just the other side of the musicianship, where Jim Hall's kind of leading in that sense. But when Bill kind of leads in his piano, right, it just feels like it's much bigger. There's more percussiveness. There's a lot of aggression kind of going on with the chorus. There's a lot more flexibility or dynamics happening with the vibe. But when Jim starts a song, or he takes a lead on the song, it kind of stays in this beautiful floating area.
Right.
So it kind of feels like Jim wants to kind of simmer down. Bill wants to go nuts. And I think when they put it together, it just makes a really interesting mix.
Yeah. They're like taking turns rhythmically, right? A lot of the time. But I feel like the guitar seems to take more of the rhythmic role usually. But every once in a while, when the guitar comes in with a solo, it's very nice. So that is a distinction. There's no percussion, but obviously like there's still like a rhythmic element that they both like intentionally are doing here. It's not just like it's not just them just going on wild solos the whole time or anything like that. There's still something to grasp onto. And that does remind me though of Downton Abbey. There's a moment in that show, I don't know if you ever watched it, where jazz is like just becoming a thing in the 1920s in the show. And they're like playing at the palace and or at the Abbey. And the older grandma, she's like, what is this? And they're just like, oh, grandma, it's jazz. And she's like, are they playing the same song? Like, are all the members playing the same song right now? Or it sounds like they're all playing different songs, right? But it's like from someone whose only musical stuff has been like classical music. Everything is so in tune with itself, right? Whereas like jazz is just like a lot more like interplay.
Less structured.
More
structured.
interplay,
Yeah.
So anyways, I had a moment where I thought about that when I was listening to this album, so I thought I'd share that. The next one is Romaine. This is the pure original by Jim Hall.
Great.
And I really like this one. It's very romantic, which I enjoyed.
Great.
Throw it on one of my playlists.
This one's beautiful for sure.
Yeah. And there's some mirroring as well that I noticed between the guitar and piano, where it's like the piano goes do 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 do, and then the guitar goes do 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 do, and I was like, "Woo, fun!"
This one feels like a soundscape more than kind of a song to be sung or presented.
Yeah,
it just feels like it's just this huge wave of a particular sound that just kind of takes you on a journey.
Yeah,
and I like that a lot.
Yeah. Journey is what I wrote down in my notes too.
Nice.
It's like very much a song that does that. So I appreciated that, and it's probably the song that I will come back to the most on this album. That and maybe My Funny Valentine,
Great,
because that's a classic, right? Did you have anything more you wanted to say about Romy?
No, good.
Then the next three are interesting because at least on Apple Music, they were the ones that were starred as like the most popular ones.
Interesting.
But I don't know, they were cool, but by this point, it was kind of sounding very consistent with everything else I'd already heard. So I'm not sure what made these tracks stand out more than the other ones. So maybe you can take the lead on that.
In Central Park, I could be mistaken, but I think Bill had a role to play in writing the song. And I know it's a standard, but I'm not sure if Bill wrote it exactly, but I know he's played it a lot.
Okay.
And so I think this was kind of something that you would contrast. Like if you love Bill Evans, you'd contrast this recording with the other recordings you'd have of the song.
Oh, okay.
You kind of see how he does it differently, and he always does it differently. There's different bands, there's drums, some are not drums. And so he always has a new, a fresh arrangement of the song, and he's so familiar with it.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the reasons why it would be quite popular.
Gotcha.
Also, it's kind of like a waltzy feel. Like it kind of has a different feel to it that might be a little bit lighter or fresher than the other songs in the record.
Yeah. One thing I will say is that throughout the whole album, sonically, I was pretty impressed. Like, it never really sounded too much like it was all the, like, you can tell this is from the 60s. But on this track, and on a few others, the guitar seemed a little bit like, it did kind of bring me to that space where it's like, 1966. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes the guitar did sound a little bit harsh. However, I still liked that it sounded real and authentic compared to some guitar that you can hear nowadays. It's like just very plastic. So it was kind of like this love-hate thing that I was having with the guitar, where sometimes it would be like piercing my ear a little bit. But then I would also be like, you know, that's what you get for that authentic sound, right? So I don't know.
I've always had gripes with guitar in general, that especially with the way it's recorded, because it has some acoustic elements to it, like you can hear the percussive nature of the strings, along with like an amp sound.
Yes.
And like blending that together is always the hardest thing, especially when considering blending with another instrument like the piano.
Yeah.
Where they have a very similar range, where the piano might have other like resonant notes that would conflict with the resonant notes of the guitar, like where notes bloom a little bit stronger than others. And so having that right balance where it feels completely clear and concise is almost next to impossible. But then you have the timbre of things where it's like you have a lot of bitey stuff coming with the acousticness of it.
Yeah.
And that kind of, the harshness is needed for clarity. But then when it's too much in the performance, it just takes away from that. It kind of stands out more. So it is a hard balance.
Yeah. And
I think it's easier to balance on an instrument like piano, which has always been, that's the sound.
Right.
The way you play it is the sound it comes out of.
Yeah.
But then the guitar, you have the element of like what amp to use, what picks to use. And every player
There's
plays
so many
a bit
factors.
different.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I guess I can give him a bit of a break.
Well, no, it's a good thing to note, I think, because it is one of the challenges of jazz recordings.
Yeah.
Where they have this tone and they have this sound.
You're right.
It's like, but then it never translates exactly the way you want it.
Yeah. And it's live off the floor. So
That too.
there's always going to be little imperfections, I feel like.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. Okay. So Skating in the Central Park, it's classic standard, as you said. It's got like a waltzy feel to it as well, which like makes it stand out a bit more. And you said Bill Evans, this is like his thing.
I think so.
Yeah.
I know I've always enjoyed his recordings of that, and he seems to play it quite often.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he wrote it or if somebody else wrote it. So
Okay, cool.
I'm not sure about that one.
Interesting. I like the name of it, Skating in Central. I'd love to go to Central Park. Never been. So, and then Darn That Dream, vibey for me, and there's some delicate chord strumming that when you hear it, it's just like, oh my god, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Sounds so good. Yeah.
The harmony in the song moves very chromatically.
Okay.
And the melody is very, it goes in and out of tonality. A lot of like accidentals, a lot of crescendoing lines that bloom into like the next key center.
Okay.
And I think this is one of my favorite tracks on the album, just because it's like beautiful interplay where it's not giving you chords exactly, but it's like weaving through the harmony. It's like it's kind of piecing it together as time goes on.
Yeah. No, that sounds really nice. Yeah. The next one is Stairway to the Stars. Cool title, but that's about all I got in terms of notes.
This one I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, the imagery in the title's cool, but yeah. And then the next one is I'm Getting Sentimental Over You, where so this is the last official track, and then there's 2 other tracks, at least on Apple Music, that were like like you were saying, like the roadmaps or the kind of other alternate takes, right? I liked it. I thought the musicianship was really impressive. Cool ending in that sense, but because I'm not like really a jazz guy, I was kind of like at this point a little bit kind of like fatigued.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I had the same experience when I listened to this record.
Yeah.
Like by the time I get to that track, I feel a little fatigued.
Yeah.
There's a lot to process, and at that point, I want to take a break.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, overall, album's really great. Actually, I think I'm Getting Sentimental Over You isn't like when this first got released, it was 6 songs. And then in later reissues, this became the 7th song.
Interesting.
And then now the one on Apple Music has the alternate versions as well. But anyways, all that aside, I like this album. I thought it was pretty cool. It has made me grow, and it has given me a new some more songs that I can be like, have you heard this jazz album? You heard this song? You know, I feel like, you know, I'm a little bit cooler now.
Well, you seem to strike me as a classic rock, punk rock guy.
Yeah.
What about this album do you think is similar to the music that you enjoy, and what about it is different?
For punk, really nothing. I feel like if genres existed on a map or on the globe, they would be like on opposite sides of the globe, you know? Yeah. In terms of like the classic rock stuff, especially with things like Pink Floyd and some of the prog rock that you get, there's a lot of I feel there's a little bit of overlap just in terms of like musicianship, right? And the care and effort that goes into and like the practice that goes into how great they sound in their musicianship and the different notes they play. Like there's just so I think that's the overlap there, but really jazz like I'm trying to think of other artists that jazz kind of comes into in terms of like rock music. I'm thinking of bands like Steely Dan, I feel like, where they kind of had some of those elements coming into play. The Beatles, I feel like, flirted with some jazz stuff, especially Paul. But yeah, overall, jazz music in my life really first entered with Christmas time, the Christmas jazz standards with Frank Sinatra, you know? And this is probably the least mainstream jazz stuff that I've listened to, which to you is probably super laughable because this is like a classic, right?
It's a classic, but still not everybody enjoys this as well. There's a lot of saxophone players I've come across that would never have heard this or never have cared to listen to this properly.
Okay, so this is like a jazz guitar album, maybe?
Kind of. There's a lot of niches in the jazz community as far as the community that I have been a part of. And I think this is one of those things that it's like the medium. It's not completely out to left field. It's not completely mainstream or in like the main jazz canon for musicians, but it's kind of like second tier.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of in the middle.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. So I am cool knowing this album.
Confirmed.
Right? Amazing. Okay. Oh, one other thing. I like the album cover. I think it's cool.
Great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like we didn't talk about that. Actually.
Yeah.
It's like women floating. And
It's got like sorry, I just cut you off there. But I was just gonna say it's got almost like a mysterious or even haunting vibe to it, which I like.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think the track Dream Gypsy makes me think about the album cover more than any other track on this record. It kind of evokes this dreamy, kind of like grieving type of feeling.
Yeah.
But it's still very beautiful and graceful that I kind of get from the album cover, just a woman floating in the water.
Yeah. So yeah, I like it. I would pick it up at a record store or consider picking it up if I saw it there. And Undercurrent, the name is cool too.
Yeah.
Kind of matches the album cover vibe.
Makes sense. There's a woman undercurrent.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, scores.
Yes.
You want to start?
4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why a 4?
just there's moments in this album that always surprise me.
Yeah.
And every time I listen to it, still makes me feel excited about it.
Yeah.
And because of the way it calls for active engagement, even just talking about the tracks on this record, I can hear what's happening so clearly in my brain. Now, part of that is because I'm familiar with it, but I don't have that sensation with other records that I am familiar with. So this strikes me as a very unique, like album, because it sticks with me in a way that no other album has stuck with me. And Jim Hall and Bill Evans, just the musicianship is fantastic.
Yeah.
To me, that's like My Funny Valentine. The interplay on that is a standard for what I think listening or active listening is from a jazz musician's perspective. And I feel like if I can't connect to the music as well as they can there, I'm not doing my job properly.
Well said.
Yeah.
Very cool. I would give it a 3.5. I recommend it to folks. Everyone should go out and listen to it. I also enjoyed it, which is why it's a half above a 3. But it's not my favorite. I'm not going to necessarily go back to it a lot. However, I do think it could grow on me. So maybe in a year or two, I'd put it at a 4. But as it stands right now, I'm putting it at a 3.5.
Very respectable.
Which means we are 7.5 out of 10
Wow.
with this album. So respectable score, I feel like.
Yeah.
Cool.
Very good.
Yeah. Thank you for listening. Please leave a comment and let us know what you thought of the album and our review of it. Leave a like if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to hear more. Yeah. We're looking to get some more subscribers, hit the 100 mark. So help us get there and we will deliver more for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.